Hello, thank you for joining me today. Today is June 9th, 2020. My name is Jerry Lee. I am the project manager for this project, the Payne-Phalen Sidewalk Infill project. And as the name suggests, we are proposing new sidewalk in the Payne-Phalen neighborhood. I hope through this presentation I'm able to inform you of the city's plan, why it's important to do this project, what you can expect from us, and what we need from you in order to have a successful project. So the first question some of you may ask is, where exactly is this work? Here we've got a map of the project area. 3 streets are highlighted. Those 3 streets are Cypress Street from Case to Maryland, Frank Street from York to Cook, and Duluth Street from Case to Magnolia. Overall, we will be adding about 2.4 miles of sidewalk in this neighborhood. I'd also like to point out on this map, we've got some destinations shown, one of which is the elementary school. We also have the Duluth and Case Rec Center, the Payne Boulevard Regional Trail to the south, and I'd also like to remind everyone that Maryland Avenue is a transit route. So why are we doing this project? We believe we are providing a safer, more user-friendly environment for our residents by creating these sidewalk connections on Cypress, Frank, and Duluth to the various destinations I mentioned earlier. If we take a look at the existing facility that's out there today, we see that there is a lack of a facility, but a need for one due from this example of the picture on the left here, a place where there's high pet usage from the erosion in this grass boulevard. So what we'd like to do is install sidewalk where there aren't any. At the same time, we'd like to build ADA compliant ped ramps to get on and off the street, like the picture shown on the right. So if we take a look at the design of this project, what exactly are we proposing? It's generally a 5 feet sidewalk within the public right-of-way. The public right-of-way is usually the first 15 feet from the back of curb. So in this drawing on the bottom here, we show half the roadway, and 10 feet of it will be 10 feet of the right-of-way will be the boulevard space, and the remaining 5 feet is where we'd like to place the sidewalk. That's not always the case, though. We'll find out later that there are some issues in trying to keep the sidewalk at the back of the property line or at the property line. As you will see in the image just right above it, the sidewalk is not linear. It does weave in and out in those locations. The map of the project will be available online if you'd like to see where exactly the sidewalk alignment is, but generally speaking, we'd like to have a 10 feet boulevard with a 5 feet sidewalk where we can. If we take a look at the existing condition out there, we'll notice that there's a gap in the existing sidewalk system. So like in this picture, we've got sidewalk on Duluth Street that dies off in the middle of nowhere. What we'd like to do is continue the sidewalk, and much like all the other locations, continue it north or south to get to Maryland Avenue and Payne Boulevard to the south. Have those connections in place and upgrade the ped facilities that are out there to make them ADA compliant. Also, while we're out there, if there are any defects in the existing sidewalk at these locations, we would like to correct those as well. So as I mentioned earlier in the design slide, we are limited in space where the sidewalk can go. One challenge is the challenge with terrain. Here we've got two different examples, one of which is a upslope on Cypress Street, the one on the left. If we want to pursue placing sidewalk further away from the back of curb, we would have to cut into the slope, and then on the example on the right, if we'd like to put sidewalk further away from the roadway, we would have to bring in fill. So in these situations we try to minimize impact, and you'll see in the map that the sidewalk alignment will weave in and out of these locations just to try to minimize impacts overall. Another impact that we'll see is the impact to trees. There are a lot of trees out here. Some of them have had a lot of time to mature and grow. Unfortunately, we are limited in where we can place the sidewalk, so some of these trees will have to come down. All in all, we've got about 82 trees that are coming down, and with the new sidewalk installation, we do reduce the number of planting locations, so we're able to get about only 60 trees back in here. If you like to know where exactly trees are coming down, the map will also show the tree impacts. And finally, one more impact we'll see out there is the impact from obstructions. Obstructions are anything such as fence, landscaping, plantings, and vehicles. We ask that the property owner please remove those items prior to construction. If they are not removed, our contractor will have to remove them, but we cannot replace them. So if you're unsure about where these impacts are, please call us. We'll help you determine if personal property or features need to be relocated. So moving on, a summary of the existing condition then is generally, again, it's the first 15 feet behind the back of curb is where the public right-of-way is, and that's where we will be placing sidewalks. So anything in the area will have to go. The trees will be removed. The terrain challenges, soils will be moved around, and not just residents, but there are utilities that are in the way, and so some of those will be relocated as well, and actually might be the first thing you'll see out there is some utility relocation. And then, yeah, any encroachment from landscaping, fence, and vegetation, we again ask that property owners please remove them. And finally, if you've got parked cars in the driveway apron, they will be in the work or construction zone, so please make arrangement to have vehicles or personal properties relocated before work starts. So the proposed changes out here, again, it's the 5 feet concrete walk that's going in the public right-of-way. And at the corners, we'll be adding compliant ADA pedestrian ramps. And the area between the sidewalk and the street will be grass. That width will vary just due to the alignment of the sidewalk. Anywhere where we disturb the soil, we will reseed and in the street we will patch. So if there are challenges with the terrain, you may see the implementation of vertical curbs, or V-curb as we call them, just to make up the height difference from the private property to the public sidewalk. And then again, with the trees that are coming down, we do have it planned for 60 trees to be replanted. Moving on to the project timeline, what will happen this year in the fall will be tree removals. We expect that work to take about 1 month, and then winter will come. So from November 2020 to spring of 21, there won't be anything going on. We'll be in suspension mode. So our contractor leaves the site, and then spring comes around in 2021. Our contractor remobilizes to the neighborhood, and that's when they actually begin a lot of the heavy construction with sidewalk work. And again, this will take 1 to 2 months. So just some more things to note here before construction begins, meaning this fall, or this summer and this fall. Property owners must remove any personal property from the public right-of-way, relocate fence, and generally the public right-of-way is that first 15 feet from the street or curb. So if you're not sure whether you have personal property within the public right-of-way, please feel free to give me a call, and I will help determine whether something needs to be removed. Otherwise, the map will be available online if you'd like to take a look at the sidewalk location. And then during construction, not a whole lot to follow here, but just obey the parking sign. Please just give our contractor some room to move around, stage their equipment, and do their work. And once the concrete's been poured, just give it some time for the concrete to cure. So generally, it's only 24 hours before you can walk on the sidewalk, and then 5 days before you can drive on it if your driveway has been replaced. So different stages of construction are shown on the slide. So in the sequence that you'll see, it would be some sidewalk or removal for sidewalk, formworks be in place, and then finally they'll pour the concrete and backfill the boulevard space. After construction, we'll reseed the areas that we've touched. So shown here is a map, or not a map, a timeline of what the cycle for establishing seed to grass is. So it's overall, it's about 8 week, an 8-week process before you can start mowing. We'd like to remind property owner that watering and mowing of grass is the responsibility of the adjacent property owner. So after we seeded, we ask that residents please water the boulevard within that 3rd week. And then in the winter, snow removal on the sidewalk again is the responsibility of the property owner. And then finally, just avoid future obstruction if there are any, with parking, landscaping, fence, and handrails. And that is the end of our presentation. So if I had a summary slide, it would be the 3 streets, Cypress, Frank, and Duluth, where we are placing new sidewalk. If there are any personal property in the way, we again ask that you please remove them. If you're unsure whether they are in impact or not, please feel free to give me a call. My contact information is here. My phone number is 651-266-1107. Thank you.